Donald Trump in a full-blown meltdown as Kamala Harris continues to draw huge crowds with her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. But are Democrats high on their own supply as the fundamentals of the race remain largely unchanged? Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graph's Grievances begins right now. The energy is off the charts. Since announcing Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate just days ago, Vice President Kamala Harris has held a series of huge rallies with Walz designed to introduce him to the American people. The two-term governor, Army National Guard veteran, and former high school teacher, epitomizing Minnesota nice. The 60-year-old white dude racking up a very moderate record while serving in Congress for over a decade, representing a district that had only been held by one other Democrat in 100 years, and that Trump carried in 2016. However, after getting elected governor in 2018 and re-elected in 2022, Walz became a populist champion, signing into law legislation providing free lunch to all public school students, expanding access to Medicaid, increasing protections for workers to unionize, installing new gun safety laws, creating a paid family leave program, and codifying abortion rights into law. All of this elevating the former high school football coach with rural roots tracing back to Nebraska to the top of the Democratic ticket as the vice presidential nominee. And while there was some initial grumbling, mostly from Republicans, about Harris passing over Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro for VP due to his Jewish faith and criticism of pro-Palestinian campus occupations, there is zero evidence this was the case. In fact, according to the New York Times, Shapiro appeared circumspect about taking the job as vice president and peppered Harris's team with questions about what his powers and authority would be as VP. Meanwhile, Walz volunteered to do whatever Harris wanted and minimized his political ambitions, telling Harris directly, quote, "Don't pick me if I won't help you win." And that attitude, combined with his joyful demeanor, reportedly won over Harris and is now unquestionably winning over the hearts and minds of Democrats across the nation. After debuting their partnership at a rockin' rally in Pennsylvania on Tuesday, Harris and Walz spoke to equally jubilant crowds in Wisconsin on Wednesday and Michigan on Thursday. Friday, the pair speaking at a rally in Arizona before visiting Nevada on Saturday for another overbooked campaign event. You'll notice all of those stops in states that will be highly competitive in November's election. And that is the key point. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia were always going to be the states that would decide who becomes president next year. Despite the palpable euphoria amongst many Democrats and their supporters in the media, with Harris replacing Biden as the Democratic presidential nominee, the fundamentals of the race remain largely unchanged. Remember, because of our entirely undemocratic electoral college system, winning the most votes does not guarantee you the presidency. There was never any doubt that President Biden would win more votes than Trump this fall, just as there is no doubt that Harris will win more votes than Trump. But that alone does not win you the White House. To do that, you need to win 270 electoral college votes. And that is only accomplished by winning the majority of the votes in key swing states, which really means turning out key demographic groups in those states. And that is exactly what Biden did in 2020 and what Trump did in 2016. The Democratic base might not have loved Joe Biden, but blue-collar workers in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona really did. And that is why Biden was able to defeat Trump 4 years ago. Biden putting all of those states in the Democratic column after Hillary Clinton lost to Trump in all of those states in 2016. So the big question now is whether Harris and Walz can grow their support beyond the Democratic base that, frankly, would turn out to vote for a moldy piece of Swiss cheese to stop Trump from ever seeing the Oval Office again. And I say that not to make fun of Democrats. I agree that even an inanimate object would be a much better president than Trump. But to make the point that exciting the base, as Walz and Harris have done, is not enough to win. So, if you are excited to vote for the Harris-Walz ticket, this is what you do. If you can, volunteer to knock on doors in a swing state nearest to you. And if you can't do that, volunteer to call undecided voters on behalf of the Harris-Walz campaign. Or just talk to your neighbors about why you are supporting the vice president. And I get this can be really uncomfortable, especially if you don't normally talk about politics with your family and friends. That's okay. Here's the key. Make it personal. That can really help. Perhaps you support Harris because you have a daughter and you want to ensure she has all the rights you had growing up. Or maybe you have a gay son and want them to have the choice to get married one day and enjoy all the protections of straight couples. Maybe your grandmother on Medicare has benefited from President Biden lowering the cost of prescription drug prices and capping insulin at just $35. Or perhaps your dad just got a new job working on the construction of a new chip manufacturing facility or roadway funded by legislation signed by President Biden. These kinds of personal stories never need to mention Trump, yet can help you start a conversation about why you are proud to vote for Kamala Harris this fall and hope that your neighbor does too. Democrats must not allow themselves to be lulled into the false sense of security that they have this election in the bag. Trump is no doubt losing his mind, attacking Harris's racial identity, intelligence, calling her low IQ and dumb, and bizarrely repeating his anti-Semitic comments that Jewish supporters of Harris need to, quote, have their head examined. But Trump's meltdown over Democratic enthusiasm behind Harris cannot let Democrats forget she is currently in a toss-up election and Trump could easily win. Many Republicans hate Trump's guts, including Mitch McConnell, Nikki Haley, Tucker Carlson, and even J.D. Vance. But they are still going to vote for him. Democrats must not forget that presidential elections are won at the margins with moderate voters. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share, and join me in the next one.